capabilities that leave people behind and undermine the potential of individuals and of humanity as a whole. Uganda's inspired efforts, these SDGs have been
Shandaro Rakadano Ramuka Sivani Sandos of Shomayama Shandare
Focal Point Minister and also Minister General Duties under the Office of the Prime Minister, who has been here for the 2 days, intently paying attention to what we're discussing and noting down. And Right Honorable Prime Minister, I know that in the chat at office, she will brief you entirely of everything that we've discussed. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for Right Honorable Justine Kasule Lumumba as she gives us a conclusion of what we've discussed and some of the aspects that have come through. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mildred, let's clap for our MCs. You know, when you're an MC, you have to stand and listen in and make sure you pick everything. In a special way, let's also thank the moderator and the panelists who have taken us through that session. Thank you so much. Right Honorable Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robinah Nabanja, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Amos Rugolobi, the Minister of State in charge planning in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, the UN Resident Coordinator, Honorable Member of Parliament, the Executive Director of the NGO Bureau, Interreligious Council, those from the development partners and representatives of the different missions, members and staff from the ministries, those from the local governments headed by the district governors, the youth coalition, the SDG teams from the different areas, most especially our champions, the media. I take this opportunity in a special way to welcome Right Honorable Robinah Nabanja, who has come to sit in, listen, and then do the official closing after she has given us time. Let's clap to welcome her. I want to thank you, Right Honorable. Despite the busy schedule, I know the conferences in town are many, but that does not even stop you from having, again, demands on your desk in your office, but you have accorded us time, though we are still part of you as Prime Minister and also part of you as government, but thank you for prioritizing us. What I want to say, Right Honorable, is that we have been here, but what I've realized, we have improved compared to what we had last year. The last year was the first one, this is the second one. When you came for official opening of last year's first conference, you represented His Excellency, the President. But while part of outside what the President had given you to convey to us, you said we should have this as an annual conference where we come to share as different stakeholders to evaluate our performance, pay extra attention to whatever is so keen for us to be able to unlock the implementation and the success to be registered for all the SDGs. So that's why we are here. So we have done as you commanded. We've had sessions and we have realized we need a lot of work. And in here there is what I've committed that we will be able to do even outside this conference. The issue of the carbon credit, we will have to have a discussion in your office to bring together all the different teams to be sure that we also get to that level where we know we are guided that we need to get somebody to come and calculate for us to understand where we are, what we have and what we don't have, to know what we are contributing and what we are not contributing, to be able to calculate and bring ourselves into issues to do with the statistics and data. Once we have that, it will give us very good negotiating power that we can go out and negotiate. And that's why you see sometimes people make statements that without data, because there is no data and there is no data to refer to. One of the panelists here said Kampala is the most polluted city in the world. I said, wow, I wish this one knew what is in the other cities. For diplomatic reasons, let me not talk about them. But Africa is the lowest contributor of pollution in the world. So Kampala cannot be the highest polluted city in the world when Africa as a whole, we are not. Actually, it is Europe and Asia that contribute the most. And it is us who are actually mitigating that by keeping our nature, keeping our forests. Yes, we are destroying, but at the same time, we are offering solutions to the lives of our brothers and sisters in Europe and in Asia. So such statements are said because we don't have data. We don't have proper data. So we need to go back as government to make sure we have data so that we are also able to challenge such when we have the data. The presentations are summarized in key messages and outcomes derived from the two-day discussion. There are many, I will beg for your indulgence, but I'll try as much as possible to even be as brief because they've pulled out 20 of them. So one, parish development model has emerged as a promising strategy for reducing vulnerability and driving inclusiveness at the local level. It is a key to achieving all other SDGs. Once we achieve the first SDG, no poverty, then it will unlock all the others, all the remaining 15, because the 17th one is to do with partnership. 2, consolidating gains and opportunities for SDG 5, that is gender equality, requires concerted effort in areas such as promoting women leadership, eliminating gender-based violence, even partial bias, and ensuring equal access to education, health care, and economic opportunities. This one is just urging us to put in more efforts as a country, because when it comes to the global scale, Uganda is up there. We have done our best right from the lowest level up to the apex when it comes to issues to do with leadership and service delivery. Inclusiveness is a very important issue. 3, data and statistics play a crucial role in identifying vulnerable groups, monitoring progress, and designing targeted interventions directly to suit the beneficiaries. The National Statistical Agency is committed to providing accurate and timely data to support evidence-based decision-making and ensure inclusivity in the implementation of SDGs at all levels. 4, development partners have a vital role to play in supporting government of Uganda in the localization of the SDGs. Upscale effective partnership between government, civil society, government development partners, and essential for mobilizing resources. We must also share expertise and align efforts towards achieving SDGs. This can only be sustained through mutual accountability and transparency. 5, multiple sources of financing for SDGs like carbon trade, diaspora bonds should be established, as the current funding is limited. The implementation of the public investment financing strategy is crucial to meeting the SDGs financial requirements, as well as taking bold steps in financing SDGs and NDP3. We're already funding. What we need to do is maybe to be more frugal and also make sure we expedite the process. 6, multi-stakeholder engagement needs to be strengthened, particularly at the local government level, to enhance understanding and collaboration of SDG implementation. The Office of the Prime Minister and the SDG Secretariat should establish a reporting mechanism that captures the contributions of various stakeholders, especially through voluntary local reviews. Now that we are going for September for the same, next year, 2024, we are expected to play a very big role as a country. This is something that we must put efforts to, much more than we've done before. 7, civil society and religious organizations remain critical pillars for ensuring citizens' involvement, popularizing the SDGs, and fostering multiple stake partnerships. A more conducive environment that grants associational and expressive freedoms for civil society organizations is essential. 8, accelerated efforts and stakeholder involvement. Given the complex situation and uncertainties, there is need for accelerated efforts by all stakeholders. The public sector needs to enhance its effectiveness by leveraging digital technologies and establishing an effective development partnership architecture to suit the current demands and those in the future. 9, decentralization reforms should be reviewed and revitalized to empower sub-national authorities and local communities. With the increase in population and the expansion of cities, we need to cater for the unique concerns of cities, including waste disposal, fiscal plans, and other related urban issues. It is possible to collect and spend resources from source, especially by local governments, with proper monitoring and accountability mechanisms and follow-ups. 10, the private sector is recognized as a critical partner in driving innovation and economic growth, and there was a call for structured engagements and a more enabling policy environment that allows the sector to grow and thrive. The private sector continues to closely work with different partners to focus on issues related to employment, growth of economic opportunities for women, and skills development for the young people. 11, digitization is a crucial enabler for sustainable development, but there is a need to enhance its implementation and bridge the digital divide. The go to last. We have gone to them first, like the Bakwa. Those communities that must come to the level of the rest because they are all created in God's image. Lastly, issues to do with the environment. I want to say we have one planet to live on, and that's the earth. All your actions should be geared and centered at making it better for yourself who is existing now, but for those to come tomorrow, because they will have no planet to go to. They will have no alternative. Now that we found a beautiful planet where we are now, let's make it better for those to come next. Allow me take this opportunity to invite Right Honorable Robinah Nabanja, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, to come and give us her address and close this conference. Can we clap for her? Can I have somebody to come and sanitize this? Sanitizer, please. Please sit down. The Right Honorable Kasule Lumumba, the Minister General Justice in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Minister of Planning, the Honorable Member of Parliament, I saw our colleague, the Member of Parliament, the UN Resident Coordinator, the members of the diplomatic missions present and agencies, the religious leaders, representatives from the private sector, the media, civil society, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for your valued contribution and participation in this second Uganda Annual Sustainable Development Goals Conference 2023. Thank you so much. More especially the Right Honorable Kasule Lumumba, the Minister General Duties, the chairpersons of panels, the panelists, the moderators, and everybody. Thank you so much for this success. As you are aware, Uganda held its first SDG conference in June 2022. This conference brought together the three arms of government, that is the executive, the legislature, and judiciary, as well as ministries, departments, and agencies, development partners, the private sector, civil society organizations, the academia, and the media, among others, to discuss the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. After the first conference, the Cabinet made some very important recommendations, which among others included conducting a national assessment of Leave No One Behind to understand who is not included in the Sustainable Development Agenda. The Leave No One Behind assessment was done by the Office of the Prime Minister, and the report will be launched in July this year. That's why you are seeing us talking in terms of parish development model. Your contribution is highly appreciated. The other cabinet recommendation was the integration of Agenda 2063 into the National Development Goals Coordination Framework, since both agendas have similar aspirations and are interlinked. The National SDG Secretariat has already conducted an assessment on the integration of the Agenda 2063
in the district development plans. The integration of the Agenda 2063 into the national SDGs coordination framework is aimed at aligning the country's development priorities with those of the African Union and ensuring that national development plans are consistent with the broader continental agenda. This will enable Uganda to benefit from the regional integration and cooperation and leverage resources and expertise from the African countries. The third cabinet recommendation was that the SDG conference be organized annually as a platform where all stakeholders will continuously reflect on SDG progress, identify and showcase innovations, as well as make policy recommendations for accelerating SDG implementation and achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, before this second SDG conference, 4 regional SDG festivals and forums were held to mobilize all Ugandans to embrace the SDGs. The regional SDG festivals and forums used a bottom-up approach, which means the discussions we have held here were based on the perspectives of citizens, both at local and national level. This approach is consistent with our NRM ideology of working closely with the wananchi to deliver transformation. Therefore, as you have all seen, our minister bring up all the recommendations the conference has generated, and the recommendations from the same. I want to assure you that we are committed to include these recommendations so that we can develop our country. These recommendations or resolutions highlight the importance of collaboration and coordination across different sectors and levels of government to achieve the sustainable development goals. I promise that the outcomes of this conference and the primary regional events will be presented to Cabinet and the UN SDG Summit of the United Nations General Assembly in September this year. I therefore direct the SDG Secretariat to make this happen. Ladies and gentlemen, Uganda has made notable progress on its journey towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. The government, in partnership with United Nations and the other stakeholders, has developed and implemented a comprehensive SDG coordination framework and roadmap. This framework has guided the integration of the SDGs into the national policies, plans, and programs, aligning them with the country's development priorities, such as the National Development Plan 3. Uganda has actively engaged different stakeholders, including local governments, civil society organizations, and the private sector, to promote SDG implementation and localization. The availability of internationally comparable data on the SDGs has significantly improved, allowing for evidence-based decision-making and monitoring. Uganda has also been proactive in conducting voluntary national reviews presenting its progress and challenges in SDG implementation at global level. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again recognize the immense contribution by the SDG Secretariat and the Minister for General Duties in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Kasule Lumumba, for the work well done. Allow me also to recognize the contribution by our partners who are working with us on our sustainable development journey through the SDG Secretariat in the Office of the Prime Minister, that is the United Nations agencies, the Royal Danish Embassy, the SDG Champions, Uganda National NGO Forum, Save the Children, World Vision, my brother here, Bank of Uganda. I want to say thank you so much. And lastly, thank you for making this conference a success. I would like to request that all of you, or all of us, the conference delegates, ensure that the actions agreed upon in this 2-day gathering are followed and implemented.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable, for sparing time to be with us, and for also the promise that these deliberations will actually be fulfilled. I will request that our development partners, together with the panelists earlier on,